And going into this year, I have to look at where we're at, and I'd spent more than I had planned going into this year. So I really love our roster and where we're at. I am very supportive of everybody we have here and everybody that's ever worked here. I think I really appreciate everything they did when they were here. And
I love
this
everybody.
particular group, it was not an easy set of choices to make. And in particular, with this group of wrestlers we just released, I would be happy to take any of them back under the right circumstance. I have no
What's the right circumstance? Like if they blow him, like, listen, a lot of people give Tony Khan a lot of crap, right? It's like the guy can't do any right now, right? Tony Khan gets rid of people. People say Tony Khan needs to be the boss, needs to be a boss. He gets rid of people, people crap on him. He doesn't get rid of people. He has too many people on the roster, people crap on him. It's like he really can't do any right now, no matter what. It's just like because he's just done. There's been so much over time.
Bridge burned with any of them, and like I said, even with the boys, I disagree with the point on travel, and that in the history of ROH and working with us, that there hadn't been a couple times where they didn't make it and maybe change stuff. But on the other hand, I really like both of them, and whether we agree or not about that point of contention, I think.
I don't know what's up with the boys. It feels like, they might have missed a day or two, or there was a miscommunication, and then somebody said, well, they used to do that all the time at Ring of Honor. They're known for this. And so maybe Tony Khan took that into consideration on a misunderstanding of a date or two, and so they got, added to that. But the bottom line is they got released. If they were more valuable, they wouldn't have been released, even if they'd missed dates. Tony Khan would have pulled them into an office and said, you've missed these 2 dates. We're upset about it. They would have said, we disagree. Then Tony would have said, well, okay, well, whatever, but don't let this happen again. Or, whatever. But they're not valuable enough. So I get it. Tony Khan let him go. You know what Tony Khan needs to come out and do? See, he just needs to be a boss in these interviews. He used to be like, hey, we released a lot of great talent these past couple of days. They were wonderful working with us. Who knows? Some of them may come back someday. I don't know. We parted amicably, but that's just the way the business goes right now. We had to make some cuts, and those are the cuts we made. That's it. That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. But instead, Tony Khan is going to talk about, like we paid for music that was worth more than wrestlers. It's just really funny.
It's regardless. I think they were great. They were a great part of Dalton's act. I like both the Tates. I like everybody we released in this batch recently, and I have wishing nothing but the best for any of them.
I didn't like the act at all.
And, I think for us this year, it's a really important year, and I'm really looking forward to going into the media rights year to, like I said, being very aggressive and putting our best foot forward, doing the best wrestling we can. And I'm thinking and have good thoughts and wishing the best and very open-minded about everybody we just released, but also
what? I'm very open-minded about all the people we just released.
I expect that there will be people that will want to come to AEW. I think really AEW and ROH were doing great wrestling, but also this is a great place to work. And
except for when your life is in danger, but it's the safest place ever to work.
I believe that everybody that has worked here that was in that group that are not with us, I have nothing but the best wishes for any of them. And they were all different circumstances, all different people. People are all different, and these are human beings, and I have a lot of respect for all of them. And
people are all different.
And like I said, they're all different circumstances, but for the company at this time, I thought it made sense. Thanks, Brandon.
All right, we'll do 2 more, and we'll call it a night.
I got to start going to this.
Virginia from XDT. Congratulations on the great show. At the start of the new era of Ring of Honor, we had the Universal tapings.
And that's the first time there's been really
world champion for the first time ever, 11 years.
See, originally Tony Khan wouldn't release anybody, because of budget. He was like, we're going to sign people and they will run their whole contract. If we sign a year contract, a 2-year contract, people will complete those contracts. We're not going to cut people. That's what Tony Khan said. In fact, they rubbed it in WWE's face when WWE was releasing talent And Tony Khan would go on to say, like, we will never do that. WWE, and then people were like, thank God, what a beautiful wrestling company AEW is. Much like when CM Punk talked about Brody Lee's passing and said that AEW handled it so amazing, that's why he came here. Just seems to be a lot of horse shit when it really comes down to it.
First time.
Brandon behind you.
I tell you, Brandon Thurston, WrestleNomics. With the releases that just happened, you said that it was for
WrestleNomics, Brandon Thurston, doesn't get any better, does it?
budget reasons, right? So, and that's the first time there's been releases for budget reasons. I know in the past there's been contracts that have expired, but you've talked about loyalty and wanting to keep people on until their contracts expire. I know there's been some exceptional cases otherwise, but does that represent a policy?
I like Tony Khan. I just want to say this real quickly. I like AEW, and I wish I could work there. I want to see this company kick some ass. I really do. And I think they have been kicking some ass, but there's just this hiccup right now that we've got to get through.
Policy changed for you, and if so, can you tell us what led to that?
So here's the question. Now he's asking about the budget cuts, and is this a policy change because you weren't going to do it, now you are doing it, that sort of thing? I get it.
Well, it's a great question. I think that this year I have been very active, not only in the free agent market, but in the production budget. There are things tonight, like, for example, on one song alone, I spent a year's pay for most pro wrestlers in this business. And
Don't say that. Don't say that. You just had to let a bunch of people go who have to tell their families, oh, sorry, honey, we're going to have to figure it out. Meanwhile, he's like, oh, I paid for someone's music. I could have kept all those people on in some capacity. 10 people. Most of them had contracts between $40,000 and $80,000 probably. Almost all of them probably had $40,000 to $80,000 contracts. But we got rid of all of them, and I spent a couple $100,000 on a song.
The budget with not only free agency but production is very high, and also we're going into a contract year, and I plan to continue being very active not only in free agency but in the production of the show and producing great content. And
so in the production, see, it just doesn't add up. We're going to use Windows Paint, my favorite thing ever. It just doesn't add up, right? Like I don't get it. You've got talent, right, that costs money. So you've got like, this guy's worth $50K, 50K. This guy's worth $80K. This guy's worth $30K. This guy's worth, 50K. Music for wrestler equals $200K. So, on one hand, you're like, yeah, we looked at the wrestlers. I'd be happy to work with all of them again. They were all great under the certain circumstances and the right circumstances. But, we had to make budget cuts. But I'm also involved in the production, and I'm paying attention to how much production costs. Well, I just paid for $200,000 worth of music for a wrestler in this show, this one Ring of Honor show. We're talking about Ring of Honor, by the way. We're talking about Ring of Honor, which is being kept alive for the markism of the company, right? Which I agree. If I had a bunch of money and I was into wrestling, I am into wrestling, but if I had a bunch of money, I would want to keep Ring of Honor alive, but I don't want to be. I am not spending $200,000 on a ring entrance for Ring of Honor talent. Ring of Honor makes about no money. If it doesn't does Ring of Honor lose money? Because I feel like it loses money. But Tony Khan justifies it by using it as a training ground, the name, like just somewhere to put the wrestlers more, things like that are justified. I don't know the numbers. But so you just got rid of wrestlers that you thought weren't worth it, and then you spent $200,000 on the music. To me, this is all horse shit. To me, you need to fire more wrestlers, right? Tony Khan needs to fire more wrestlers, and then Tony Khan needs to not pay for music for Ring of Honor. But then there are some people that will get on Tony Khan and they'll say, come on, man, he should have had that song. That would have made it awesome. Just spend the money. How many times do we hear WWE people say, just spend the money on the music? How about CFO, the WWE's production group that were kicking ass? These guys in CFO, they made all these great entrance themes. Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura, the list goes on and on and on and on. They were all so good. They took over after Jim Johnson. They did just such a great job. Well, WWE didn't want to pay them $5 million or $10 million or whatever it was, so they got rid of them. Then they had to get rid of a bunch of music because they didn't own all the rights to all the music. But it's like, in my opinion, that would have been worth the money. That would have been worth the money. I don't think Ring of Honor music is worth the money. And I don't think these wrestlers are worth that money either. But I also think that Tony Khan needs to stop. He does it even in this commentary where he's shaky, he's not sure. Just say, yes, they were great for us. We had bigger aspirations, whether that's our fault or partially theirs. It's mostly ours. We couldn't find things for them to do. Therefore, we couldn't justify what we were paying them. We had to release them. There will be more releases in the future, by the way. By the way, that keeps your talent on their toes. Also, yeah, we had some opportunities to spend money in production. I decided not to do it because we're trying to save money in all aspects of the company right now, because we're in that readjustment phase, and we're about to look forward to a launching of all this new stuff that's going to be going on, and new talent evaluations, and these great upcoming shows that we're going to be announcing. And we have a lot of aspects and a lot of hope for what's coming up, that sort of thing. Just move on. But instead, it's all this sort of pandering back and forth and like wishy-washy answers and stuff that just doesn't make sense. Oh, we like them, but we had to let them go. But, they can all come back. I like them all. And, oh, by the way, we have money issues, but I just spent $200,000 on a song. What are we talking about?
At where we're at, and I'd spent more than I had planned going into this year. So I really love our roster and where we're at. I am very supportive of everybody we have here and everybody that's ever worked here. I think I really appreciate everything they did when they were here. And this particular group, it was not an easy set of choices to make. And in particular, with this group of wrestlers we just released, I would be happy to take any of them back under the right circumstance. I have no bridge burned with any of them. And like I said, even with the boys, I disagree with the point on travel, and that
it's just really funny. I don't know. Anyway, poor Tony Khan right now really I do sympathize with the fact that it feels like he can do no right. Everything he does, it feels like it's wrong. So he's trying to do things to make things happen, and everything is scrutinized, and but I'm telling you what some of those things are right now. The reason why it's a problem. I wish I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what little old Joe says in his basement. But Tony Khan, bro, I don't know. You need to hire somebody as your spokesman, president. Tony Khan, I will be the president of AEW for you. And we will destroy. Okay, Tony. Tony Khan, you need a press secretary or a president. Please give me a call. Thanks. I'd rather just do the commentary, though. But then again, whenever they get a good commentary guy, they fire them, like Kevin Kelly. The only reason why I was willing to continue watching Collision was because of the announce team being Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness. And they got rid of Kevin Kelly. So guess what? I'm not watching Collision anymore. So there's another stupid mistake, but whatever. It is what it is. The footage tonight will be unveiled. We'll be here to talk about it, me and Jake, on Out of Nowhere tonight live. And it's apparently really going to be like I said, I've been saying this since they said it, that it's going to be legit. And there's a quote, AEW has a great track record on delivering what we advertise. They really do, actually, when it comes to that. And it is real footage, Khan said. That's what footage is. Some people have suggested that the footage being aired now is because Khan was upset with what Punk had to say, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we know why they're airing the footage. Come on. We know why they're airing the footage. Anyway, what do you guys think about this? Leave it in the comments down below. If you want to leave a super thanks, thank you. I obviously have had to step away from the show quite a bit recently because of my own budget cuts here on the show, obviously. So if you guys want to support the show, try to pick the show up again so we can get back to covering more stuff. Drop a super thanks down below or become a patron on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show or use the donate button for Streamlabs when we're live and all that sort of stuff. But think about joining Patreon above all other things. Thanks so much, and I'll see you tonight potentially for a little while for Out of Nowhere. And keep watching videos, man. They're popping up right now for you. And also click the like button because that helps more than it used to. And I'll see you tonight live right here on The Joe Cronin Show.